Hi everybody, this is Clint with the RV Small Talk podcast. This week we're going to revisit one of our favorite episodes that we've done in the past few years, specifically about the way RVs are built and what you might be looking for when you're shopping. We're going to look at stick and tin and aluminum and fiberglass, so stay tuned as this was a pretty well received episode and we're looking forward to sharing this information with you in this buying season.
In this episode of the RV Small Talk podcast, we're going to dive right into the thick of it, the thick of the most basic of RV questions when someone's starting out in this field. What is the difference between the so-called, air quotes, stick and tin trailers and these vacuum bonded aluminum frame trailers? What's the difference? They look different. One looks cool, old school. One looks cool, modern and high tech. But what's the difference?
Let's talk about it.
Welcome to the RV Small Talk podcast, where we talk about lightweight trailers, truck campers, and the people, places, and adventures that go right along with them. We are your hosts from Princess Craft RV. I'm Clint.
I'm PJ.
And I'm ready for the weekend.
Welcome, ready for the weekend. We'll call her Lindsay. Don't forget that you can check out every episode we've ever uploaded to the interwebs over at rvsmalltalk.com. That's where you can find previous episodes, but also the show notes. So head on over there. If you'd like to know about what's going on in our community, I wonder if Lindsay knows where to go.
If you want to join the conversation, you can head over to Facebook. We have our RV Small Talk community Facebook group. There you can ask questions, share your camping stories. We want to see pictures, all the good stuff. So on Facebook, search for RV Small Talk community.
Absolutely. If you ever want to camp with us, did you know that we host rallies? I knew that.
I knew that.
You know? PJ, have you been to one?
I have been to all of them, every single one of them.
They also have a Facebook page where you can hang out and talk, ask questions at the Texas Tiny Trailer Rally group or the Texas Truck Camper Rally group.
And find out when those rallies are and join up with us. It's about time you show up. Let's go. PJ, you've been in the RV game for a little while. And you've seen every type of...
Are you calling me old?
I did not use those words.
You didn't use those words.
I heard those words.
I thought I heard it. I was just checking.
But you have seen some great changes throughout the years on the way they build trailers, truck campers, and whatnot. And the biggest visual cue that people have when they're first starting to look at trailers in particular is the siding. You have this old school kind of, I don't know, corrugated, wavy aluminum and all that. And we have a affectionate, endearing term for that. What do we call that?
We call it stick and tin.
Why?
Well, because that's how it's built. They take wood frames, and they're sometimes smaller, sometimes more substantial, but it can be a 1x2 that frames up the side. Then you staple the aluminum on the outside and insulate it, put some paneling on the inside. The cabinets will keep the walls stable, and you've got a lightweight, reasonably lightweight, inexpensive camper.
Okay.
There is, and I will go up against anybody who bashes this type of camper.
Okay.
They are inexpensive to build. They are probably not considered top quality, but you know what? They are a fabulous entry-level trailer.
Sure.
And they get people into the market that might otherwise not be able to do it financially.
Okay.
And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. We have the same thing in the housing market. We have the same thing in cars.
Right.
I feel like
it's
she's
just
like strongly defending something that we did not say was bad.
Yeah, you know what? She's
No,
strongly
but
defending it, but I also feel like she's
that's
like covered
probably true.
like 8
Yeah.
of the 6 bullet points I had.
I know. As she was talking, I was like, oh, all right, back up.
You said she'd have like this would be a softball episode for her, and I mean, she's over here
got
like
plenty to say about
running
it.
the bases.
Well, you know, we don't need to like go into depth about what aluminum is, but this is
What is aluminum?
That's literally what this podcast is about. What do you mean we don't have to go into
I thought
it?
we were talking about building trailers.
I need metallurgy.
Well, then I need help because I have not been in that business for very long.
Okay, so there's that. We'll dive a little bit more into the stick and tin and maybe some history of it and pros and cons and all that. But before we do, let's contrast with probably the second most common, maybe now the most common type of build that you'll see out there. in trailer land, RV land, which is this vacuum bonded walls.
Like the smooth ones.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, but let's back it up here because just because there's
Beep.
yep. There you go. Put it in reverse.
Okay.
That doesn't necessarily mean vacuum bonded or laminated, which is the term I think you're searching for if it's fiberglass on the
Okay.
outside. So that is a whole nother category by itself.
Okay.
It is considered a stronger exterior. It has pluses and
Wait,
minuses.
okay, now which? If we're dividing the vacuum bonded and the laminated, which one are you talking about right now?
Well,
Which one are you describing?
Well, we'll have to discuss what that means because
Okay.
they both will have a fiberglass exterior.
Do you remember when we thought it would be fun to not tell PJ what the topic is?
Oh no, I think it's still fun. I think this is going to be actually super great.
Okay.
Well, you know what? That is a common misconception
Yeah.
that a lot of people have.
See, I made it.
Yes.
That laminated and vacuum bonded are the same thing.
Well, and that if it's the smooth fiberglass on the outside, it has to be one of those things. And it
Okay.
doesn't.
Okay.
So,
So if it's got the smooth fiberglass on the outside, other than say one of the Oliver trailers or something like that, that's obviously just a solid piece of fiberglass hull, right?
well, that is a molded fiberglass.
molded fiberglass.
So that is a whole different
And
animal.
I didn't think that we were going to talk about that very much. So
Well, it's just a different style of trailer.
say, and then you have just a standard laminate, which is just layers epoxied or glued together, maybe pressed a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. We're getting kind of confused in the weeds here.
Well, that's why I'm trying to
Okay.
deconfuse it.
So,
Is that a word? It's not a word. It's a word. I use it.
yeah.
Unconfused. That's the word you're looking for.
Unconfused?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I don't think that's not a real word.
Clearly.
That's not a word. Can't be a word.
Misconfused.
Re-confused.
So, are we talking about what material is used on the outside or
or
are we trying to discuss how the wall is
Yes.
put together?
That second one.
that's what you want? Let's run with that one.
All right.
Yeah, which, I mean.
Hey guys, we don't know what this podcast is about, but we'll tell you in just a minute.
It's going to be good
the
fun.
different.
Hang in there.
Okay, like the main, 3 ways that trailers are, like the walls are put together.
that you see in the market today.
And of course, that's going to have to do with the materials that they use.
Right.
But we're talking about like how they put the walls together.
Yeah,
If you're not
it's-
watching this video, I'm just slowly
Squeezing her hands
smushing
together.
my hands together because
Yes.
that's how they do it in the RV industry.
That's
Slowly
that's the
squishing it.
the
They
technical
just-
hand signal.
But they have to
Yes.
make this sound.
Yes, this trailer was made with hand smooshing.
The better the less the delamination.
Okay.
Oh,
So we start with stick and tin, right? The wooden frame and the
Yeah,
aluminum on the outside of it, usually bumpy aluminum.
because
Okay, come on, guys. Bumpy aluminum.
Yes.
Wavy.
It's crimped aluminum.
it's like ruffles. They have
Bumpy.
ridges.
Bumpy.
They do have ridges, like ruffles.
Like if you were to fall down a big piece of it, it'd be like this.
It's washboard.
That's how you, yes.
Okay, so when I
You should
started,
just call it aluminum.
So much vibrato in this wall.
Okay, back on track.
do you know when I started, which was 25 years ago?
I didn't say it. You said it.
I know. That's okay. It's back
Did you
when I
ride a
was-
horse to school?
I walked 15 miles in the snow barefoot.
You lived in Houston.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's true.
15 miles uphill in the swamp.
That's right. Crossed the bayou. So, at any rate, when I started, aluminum was what we did. That's what Princess Craft did. We built camper shells
Yeah.
and we built like rodeo campers, truck campers.
If someone wants to see,
And they were all aluminum
Yeah.
and they were wood framed. We built a wood frame just like a house, and then we stapled aluminum to it.
And then you went on the inside and added maybe insulation and then wallboard on the inside?
And that is how we became a business. That is the business that I purchased 25 years ago. It was a bit outdated at the time, but it was still a very standard way of manufacturing.
If you want something that looks like, that's a modern build that looks like what Princess Craft used to build, I'd look at the Capri truck campers?
Capri does a great job.
It's a beautiful camper.
Yes,
but
yes.
it's in that vein of the rodeo campers.
And they were our competition at the time. It was Princess Craft and Capri.
Would you say they won?
I would say they won with longevity.
I think they did.
I started in this business and I was like, oh, heck no, not going there. That's hard.
Yeah.
But we had these huge, sample things of like 25, 30 different kinds of crimps on the aluminum. And the trailers that we would repair, because people knew we did this,
Sure.
so they would bring us trailers to repair. It was all the same type of thing.
Right.
But there was so many different types of aluminum, and there was different kinds of.
Like the diamond shape?
Oh, there was diamonds.
Yeah.
There was how many crimps? Some of them had like 3 crimps in, and then 2 crimps out, 3 crimps in, and.
And you
know,
could do that kind of crimping in-house?
we couldn't do any of it, but we did have a giant metal brake.
Right.
If you remember, we
do.
just got rid of it a few years ago.
Right.
Because we used it from time to time, but we used it to help the ends of it fit, do what we needed to do with
so
it.
you would buy large sheets of this stuff?
No. You would buy it from an aluminum manufacturer.
So you wouldn't buy it in large sheets, but you would buy it in large sheets?
I would buy it in long, skinny things because it was like siding on a house.
Oh,
it
yeah,
came
yeah.
like long boards.
Like exterior boards?
Yeah, and
Guys.
it still does.
Okay, what?
So anyway, my point was
Guys.
there was so many different kinds of crimping
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
And
Man, this
that
takes me right
gave
back to the 80s when my
that gave
sister
the
crimped her hair.
trailers. Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. And it made different kinds of looks
Yeah.
on trailers and different kind of locks. So you had to know if it was an S lock or, because they hook together and then you staple the bottom. They hook together, you staple the bottom. It's
Okay.
how you put it on.
So similar to putting shingles on a roof or maybe putting the wood, the pre-manufactured wood flooring
Same
in?
thing. You just put up a panel, then
Yeah.
you staple all these things to it.
Okay.
So today, if you have to change aluminum on these things, you can pull off 2 of those and then you have to get up to the broken one and then you start hooking them on,
Right.
stapling them, hooking them on, stapling them.
And y'all kept Alcoa in
Yeah.
business.
Well, there's suppliers for that. But anyway, the inside could be rolled pink insulation like you'd put in a house.
Okay.
Or you could put block foam in there and just cut it to fit, stick it in between the joists. Then you get wall paneling of whatever color you like, and you staple it to the inside of the wood.
This is straight
and
up
that's that.
almost smaller scale. It's kind of like when I was growing up, I'd build plastic models all the time. It's kind of like building a little model of a house.
Yes.
You're
That's
using
exactly what it is.
It's residential building of the time, just smaller. You said smaller wood supports instead of 2x4s. You're using like 1x2s.
You can go as small as that on some of them.
Okay,
Yeah. 2x4s aren't standard,
sure.
but whatever framing you
Yeah.
use, the aluminum goes on the outside on top of a thin layer of paneling, and then you put wallboard on the inside. You've got a trailer.
Okay,
right?
so tell me what the pros are. If someone's going to get something built the stick and tin method today, why would it make sense for them to? They do have options.
It's cheap.
There you go. Okay, those are usually the easy to find cheap.
It's
Trailers.
cheaper because it's easier and faster to build. So
and it's very inexpensive materials.
Okay.
So
Well, wood's kind of expensive now, but it's still in the grand scheme of things.
right.
Okay. You gonna be okay? You're not gonna be okay. She's not gonna be okay. We all know how this ends.
oh, she's coughing. I'm yawning.
All right.
Hi coughing. Hi yawning.
No, I told you I'm ready for the weekend.
I am ready for the weekend. Also known as
Understand. So there is also a way to change the insulation, change it up, put some different boards behind it. So there is a little bit of a difference, but stick and tin is a fine way to build, and it makes it affordable. Now you can do the same type of build with fiberglass on the outside, and if you have a frame and you want to put fiberglass on the outside, you can do what they call a hung wall.
Okay. So it's still wood framed, corner to corner, top to bottom.
It can be
It's
wood
just-
framed or it can be aluminum framed.
Okay. Okay. So tell me the
You just-
methodology of hanging a wall.
Well, fiberglass is got a backing on it that's usually a Luan, which is a real thin plywood. And then you just glue that to the frame.
Okay.
You put glue on the frame and you stick it down and you press it, let it dry,
It sounds
and
like
you've
a
got a wall
holiday
hanging there.
a holiday weekend project.
Yeah, so it's a hung wall.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what would the benefits of doing that? Because the only difference you've told me so far between that and a stick and tin is you've hung a fiberglass wall on the outside.
Well, it takes less equipment, for one thing. But
Okay.
because you don't need a laminator or a vacuum bonded machine or a pinch roller, any of this equipment to smash the wall together and laminate it. All you have is just a frame, glue, and something to press down on it
So
to
how
keep it
thick
together.
is this layer? If it's not one of those laminated or vacuum bonded systems, it's just a hung fiberglass wall. How thick is that fiberglass?
It's very thin. It's thin enough that you can roll it.
Okay.
You can roll it into a tube to ship it.
Okay.
And then you spray it and you put Luan on the back of it.
Okay.
Now, that is a wood product. And these days, you can also put Asdel on the back. That is another selling point for a lot of campers, right?
Sure.
Now, you guys know what Asdel is, right? Have I completely failed?
No, because I've recorded a lot of your videos.
Yeah.
Asdel is a different material that you use in place of wood. Very often these days, to make a camper less vulnerable to moisture or delamination or that wood swelling or anything,
right.
you can use Asdel, which is basically a thin board that's plastic. It's a composite.
Okay.
It is like PVC.
Okay.
So you could stick it in a glass of water and it's not going to swell or anything.
Okay.
So if they use that as a backing, then they put the fiberglass roll on that and they can put that on the wall. Either glue it or laminate it.
Sounds swell. All right. So we got the two thinner types of wall materials that you can put onto a wood framing system. And then you can use batting or you can use the closed
The block foam.
block foam. Okay. What's the next step from there? The next level up, if you will. I don't know if these are levels up. These are just options. The next option from there.
Yeah. Well, what you were talking about, you had a bunch of different names,
Yeah.
but basically people will call them laminated.
Okay.
Laminated walls.
We'll call the family of laminated.
Yeah, there's
Lamb fam.
the lamb fam. So if you laminate a piece of paper, you put plastic on both sides and you run it through this machine that heats it up and kind of meshes that plastic onto the paper, right? Same kind of process. There is a machine that heats up
Yeah.
and it runs these things through and presses down
Yeah.
and makes that wall one piece.
Got
Because
it.
the glue in it presses everything together.
Sure. Okay. How many layers do you usually find? Outside layer, a foam layer, and an inside layer, and that's pretty much normal. And then you can go from there.
Yes, it's really the same as you would find, in any other wall that maybe isn't laminated. You've got the fiberglass on the outside, a layer of either Asdel or Luan, the frame, some type of insulation, most likely block foam in there. And then on the inside, you can either have Asdel paneling or a wood paneling.
Okay.
And once that's layered together, then you run it through the laminator. I'm sure there's a fancy name for it. And it heats it up, presses it together,
Sure.
and it's all one piece.
I think there needs to be a Marvel superhero.
The laminator.
Yeah. And his main foe is the delaminator.
D-Lam back again.
We used
Foiled
to-
again.
We used to hear a lot about vacuum bonding.
Yeah,
and
so let's go there.
It's a bit different. And from what I understand, it's just like it sounds like it sucks all the air out and pieces it together and heats it up and it's one piece.
Okay.
So, the object of the game is to make a good solid wall that's not going to delaminate. It's going to add structural strength
Sure.
to the trailer.
Now, a lot of these trailers that we get, you mentioned that the interior components actually make the structure more rigid or more viable for traveling and all that. Like you said, the cabinetry kind of stiffens it up.
There are some of them that really need that cabinetry to keep it square and keep everything tied together.
Okay.
But when you get to a nicer laminated trailer, the cabinetry is put in afterwards, and that structure is very strong.
Sure.
Because the next step up that people will try to sell you is aluminum frame. That has been the buzzword for probably 10 years.
It's actually the vast majority of anything I've ever seen on our sales lot in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Most of
Yeah,
our stuff.
Absolutely.
Is that a humble brag?
No, it's just since I've only been here for that long, before that I was a middle school teacher. It's all I've really known to be talked about here. I just don't know. I don't know better.
It used to be huge bragging rights, and now it's very common. What you don't know is how thick the aluminum is, whether it's all aluminum frame, whether it's just aluminum frame on the very outside with wood framing around the windows.
Would that be called an aluminum framed superstructure?
Correct.
Aha.
And sometimes you will see superstructure.
Yeah, so we're back to the superheroes. Laminator, delaminator.
This all sounds very, I don't know.
Hold it together.
Superhero stuff. We ought to create our own game.
It's pretty epic.
Yeah.
Okay, so
make a movie.
I don't have time for that.
Oh,
yeah.
come on. Oh, come on.
Write a script.
That sounds really hard.
Okay, so
It'd be a
there's
great
different
movie.
levels of this term aluminum framed. You have the superstructure, which is really kind of like more like the picture frame, which is all around the outside, and the inside rungs, if you will, studs, would be more the standard wood. Okay, what's the point in doing it that way?
I don't know. It's less expensive, maybe.
Okay, you can
A little
still
more flexible.
Okay, you can still say that there's some weight savings and some added rigidity in the aluminum. It's just a combination of two methodologies.
You know, don't you think sometimes the manufacturers are just looking, and this is a terrible thing to say, but don't you think sometimes
Pull the microphone closer while you say this.
Yeah, I'm getting myself in hot water. Yeah, sorry guys, I don't mean this quite as ugly, but they're looking for the list of things that they can put on the back of their brochure that says, "Look, we have all these things."
Right. So some of them will say aluminum framed and it'll have a little asterisk, and then it'll be like a little thing referring to the superstructure.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
what does superstructure actually mean?
Well,
And
It's
some
like
is,
a structure, but it's super.
I mean, I think we did a podcast one time on buzzwords. I'm ready to do that again because the buzzwords we see now
They
are
change.
just overwhelming. But the reality is, you do this aluminum frame, you don't know how thick the aluminum is. You don't know how it's attached. Is it welded together? Is it stapled together? Some of it's screwed together.
right.
And, I'm not saying good or bad on any of that, but then some of them put wood on the inside.
On the inside of the
square
rods.
tubing.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
because
it's
they
jacketed
say-
wood, basically.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because they say it protects the wood so the wood doesn't swell. It also keeps the condensation from coming in towards the aluminum. It adds strength. I mean, I don't know.
There's all kinds of ways to spin
There's
this.
so different ways to make aluminum frame be aluminum frame.
Now, my thing with aluminum is that in some ways it's easier to work with and it's strong and it's lightweight. But I've also, my understanding, because I didn't spend that much time in shop class, is that it is actually pretty difficult to weld well, to do a good job. And as you get into not just superstructures that are aluminum, but fully welded cage frames and all that tend to be in the upper echelon, is that where the cost starts to go because of the time and the skill needed to put those fully welded cage frame sort of things together?
Well, yeah, that's going to add not only a little more complexity to it,
Right.
but a different type of build. Because how do you laminate a wall if you build a fully aluminum cage frame like Intech does? How do you laminate a wall? And the answer is you don't.
All right. So what's their solution?
So they have a hung wall.
Okay. So they're reaching across a lot of generations of techniques to
Right.
put their modern product together.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. So they've got the solid cage frame that really adds stiffness to the trailer so nothing's wobbling around.
Right.
You can do lots of great things with that because you've got a really solid structure.
Okay.
But then they have to attach the fiberglass on the outside. So occasionally you do get a little bit of wave in it because there's no way not to.
Well, I think if you're hanging your wall, you're kind of, I hang flags. I typically have a little wave in them.
Well, flags, but I don't think you think a flag is going to be the side of your trailer. Come on.
I might need a flag wall in a pinch.
I guess that's true. But anyway, it's a different way to build. But they don't need anything to help hold up their cabinets on the inside. I mean, those trailers are so solidly built, you just attach them wherever you need to attach them. If it's aluminum frame,
Yeah.
it still has a steel chassis.
Okay. I have another question then. When you match two types of metal together, that invites corrosion, doesn't it?
Oh, well, you're bringing me to the metallurgy side of it.
Oh, yeah. And I wasn't supposed to go there. However,
Well, you certainly can,
Yeah.
except for the aluminum is in the walls. So it's not necessarily, spending a lot of time connecting.
well, it depends.
to the steel
if
frame.
it's the Intech trailers, which are fully welded aluminum frame, including the underframe and the A-frame, then you still have to attach to the steel axle,
That's true.
right? And the hitch components. And if you have a weight distribution hitch, that's steel and it's mated right there. So do you know of what they're doing to keep corrosion?
That is a really good question for them.
Okay.
And I don't think I can answer that accurately.
they figured it out.
They figured something out, yeah. I'm told they have a coating that they use on it to keep any corrosion from happening.
Okay.
But what that is and how it's applied, I don't know.
Sure.
Don't know. I'll tell you everything I know, but I don't know that.
Well, don't make anything up. They'll catch you on this podcast.
I know. But yeah, so I don't know. I think you made some good points between all the different builds of a trailer, and they use the aluminum chassis.
Okay.
But that's very, very rare.
Okay, so if I were brand new, I just want something for my family to go out, just dip my toes in the water, and I don't have the greatest of means, and I'm looking to do state parks kind of thing. Should I really focus maybe on the stick and tin side of things? I mean, is that going to be my playground when I'm shopping?
I think you need to compare.
Okay.
I have seen now, especially since the pandemic, that a lot of the stick and tin are about the same price as the laminated ones. And if the price is close, by all means, step up.
Okay. Step up meaning
Step up
just
to the fiberglass outside.
to the fiberglass outside. That's the next step.
Because yes, I think, if you get a hailstorm, your aluminum trailer is going to have all kinds of dents in it. It's more susceptible to tree branches, all of those kinds of things. It is more susceptible to leaks.
Sure.
It is also less expensive.
Okay.
So if it's not less expensive, opt for the fiberglass, right?
Here's my question. What about repairs? If something happens to that aluminum wall or that fiberglass wall, what's the difference in repairing those?
It's a different kind of repair.
Okay. Is it more expensive typically to do fiberglass repair?
It depends on what it is, not necessarily.
Okay.
That's funny because he wrote on here, it is more expensive.
That is a selling point that people that sell stick and tin say. Yeah. That fiberglass is more
Undercover
expensive.
salesperson?
Well, it was been my understanding, and if my understanding's wrong, then let's correct it. Okay. So it may or may not be more expensive. Let's say it's the same hail ball. It happens to hit the trailer. It's a hail dent. It's hail damage. One nice golf ball size.
One nice golf ball size hail dent, probably cheaper to fix in fiberglass because they just fix that one dent, paint it to match, you're good to go.
Not expected.
However, if you scrape a tree all the way down the side,
Yeah.
you have a huge fiberglass repair, and it's probably cheaper to replace the aluminum on the side
Because
of
you
a
can buy
trailer
another sheet of it and
than
just
to repair a big fiberglass issue. And, it used to be that the people replacing aluminum, they were easier to find. Now you have to wait on the specific aluminum to arrive. You have to order it from the manufacturer.
Right.
So it's just time. Is it going to match? The fiberglass, there are people who are good at fiberglass, not in every service department,
Sure.
but they're out there.
They're out there.
Yeah, they
We know a
repair
few here.
boats and all kinds
Sure.
of things. Yeah, we have people work with us. So I wouldn't be scared of that. Honestly, I would not be scared of that.
My guess also is that the aluminum is better from or is worse from an insulation standpoint than the fiberglass.
Absolutely.
Am I correct in that?
Absolutely.
There's more seams, right?
A lot more seams.
That seems to be the case.
Oh, Jill. And there is also, it's metal. So metal is going to hold the heat or the cold. So it's much harder to insulate the trailer.
Isn't the metal more of a conductor than fiberglass, which is more of an insulator?
That's what I mean. The metal is going to itself become hot or cold.
Okay.
So your wall becomes hot or cold. So whatever the outside temperature is,
Radiates inside.
exactly. Thank you.
Okay.
Your English is much better than mine today.
I don't know about Englishing. Okay. So if I were to be someone who's more of a DIY person, and I'm looking in the used market, but there's enough used of both types out there. What would you recommend someone who actually enjoys working on their stuff? DIY, aluminum, or fiberglass? Doesn't matter.
Obviously fiberglass because of the longevity.
Okay.
I think there is the possibility of a longer, healthier life with fiberglass. Although, we've seen aluminum trailers that were 10 years old and perfect, and we've seen fiberglass that are 2 years old and terrible.
Right.
So, it is just a possibility. And it depends on what you want to do. If you want to reskin it yourself and you don't know how to do fiberglass, you might do better with aluminum.
I don't like that term.
Even with
Reskin?
Stop.
even with YouTube, guy, you can learn how to fiberglass with YouTube.
Oh, the chemicals with
Yeah.
fiberglass. It's
Itchy.
just not my thing, which is why one of the great ways to build trailers, which is the molded fiberglass, like a Casita,
Right.
an Oliver,
right.
Bigfoot.
all of those trailers. It is a phenomenal way to build a trailer.
Are they as rigid? I think they are, but I don't know. Are they as rigid? They don't have
Yes.
framing the same way. They don't have traditional framing in the walls.
No, they don't, which is why they're so impervious to swelling or delambing or problems. I mean, you're looking at basically a big, heavy boat hull right there all around you. So they're very well insulating. They're just a solid way to build,
Yeah.
and they're not that heavy.
Now, I haven't been in many of these, and I haven't looked that close. You have, like you said, this kind of boat hole kind of build, from bottom, top, kind of click together like a Easter egg, plastic
Right.
Easter egg.
Right?
How do they do the cabinetry and all that on the inside? Do they just kind of build this up on the inside and then click the top on top of it? Like, are the cabinets attached to the walls?
No, they do the outside and then they build the cabinets on the inside, just like everything
But
else.
are they attached, or are they kind of freestanding on the inside?
Oh, they're attached. They're
How?
attached.
How are they doing this? Is it an epoxy? Are they screwing into the fiberglass?
I would say they're
Anchors?
probably screwing into it to some degree, and there may be some anchors built into it when they do the mold.
Okay.
So then they can attach to those.
And then you can just kind of bolt it from the top down. And then other than being bolted down to the floor, there's a little bit more freestanding nature to it, is what I'm guessing.
And they tend to build in things that are part of it. Like in the mold, they will have pieces that fit in there that are like a fiberglass base to the dinette.
I kind of remember
Instead
seeing
of a
in
wood
some
base.
of them that they'll have like fiberglass molded shelving. You just attach the doors to it.
Correct.
Like the shelf, the cabinet is already there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Screw a door to it, and there you go.
Exactly. I am super excited to see the Barefoot. I hope it finally comes out
Was that
this summer.
They call
It's
it the
been 3
Borealis?
years.
Is that what they call it?
No. That's Northern Lights trailer.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry,
that
Bigfoot. Got confused.
yeah, that's the Northern Light trailer that isn't out yet, and they put that on hold because of the pandemic. They
Right.
just couldn't keep up and get the parts.
Sure.
So,
Okay.
But I think we'll see that in the next few years. I hope so, because what I have seen of that trailer sounds fabulous.
Yeah.
But
Borealis
yeah,
by Northern Light.
It's perfect, right?
I know.
It means the same thing.
I know. See, reiteration is how things stick in people's minds.
That's silly.
Well,
I mean, I approve.
well, I don't know. Do we go back to Intex naming
No, we leave
with
them
a Sol Dawn?
It's been years. We leave them alone now.
Do we?
Enough people
Off the hook.
enough people are sold on it that they bought them. Okay.
Did y'all catch that? Sol Dawn. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Okay, cool. I have actually enjoyed this because I was using the terms extremely loosely
Right.
on these different build types, and I benefit from the clarification.
Good.
So cool. So
Well,
this has
they're
been
all-
all for me because Lindsay didn't actually want to know.
Well, they're all buzzwords to try to sell something or, make a product look really inviting. The truth is, all these trailers have goods and bads, benefits. Fiberglass is heavier. Fiberglass is more insulating. It's a little stronger. But stick and tin has a great place in the market.
Right. Very good. Very good. Quick, Lindsay, would you own a stick and tin?
Sure.
Okay, quick, PJ, would you own a stick and tin?
Absolutely.
Quick, Clint, would you? Absolutely.
If I had a stick and tin, though, it would probably be a vintage style
Yeah.
look.
Yeah. I mean,
I
they
would
kind
look
of
for
lend
something like
themselves to
that.
that.
Yeah, we carry the retros. I know there's a few others out there that have been built over the years, and I would want something kind of vintages because that's what it looks like to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to have like wings on the back and big round lights that stick out.
Okay.
and-
Like what I
know.
would imagine when the old Chevys or Thunderbirds or something like that.
yeah, or Shastas or
Well, I was
something
thinking
like
cars,
that.
but okay.
I know you were. I was trying to relate it. I mean, that's really what the Shasta was. It was a Chevy knockoff kind
Okay.
of thing. So, yeah, that's what I would love.
Okay.
I would love to
But
have
would
that.
you like the modern amenities on the inside?
I would. This is.
Would
gonna,
you go?
This is going to sound
How
terrible.
far vintage would you go?
I would go totally vintage as long as it didn't smell. I have yet to be in a true vintage trailer.
It doesn't have that,
That didn't smell.
mothball kind of.
I just
Yeah.
don't think I could do
They have
the
that
smell.
and you can't.
You
Sorry.
just can't get it
Ooh,
out.
that smell.
Can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I'm all about the smell. I would take the visual.
Like Febreze the thing, and
No, it doesn't work like that.
it doesn't work like that.
Well, Shasta rebuilt
You could cook fish and broccoli in it.
It's pronounced Shasta.
Shasta. Shasta built their originals, but
Wow.
there was only so many of them.
Oh man.
So that's what I would love.
Lindsay, would you said you would go for a stick and tin, but would it have to have modern features and amenities?
No. Do I get to keep my trailer now? Can
Well, I mean-
can I have both?
Yeah. Sure.
No.
We didn't-
I don't know. A tent would be cool too.
I've been planning another tent camp out for my kids. I know I have a trailer,
I'd paint it yellow.
but they need to have a tent camp
A
out.
tent?
No, a vintage
Oh.
trailer. I'd paint it yellow. It'd be like a pineapple.
That's dangerous.
I'd be like SpongeBob.
Okay.
Would it have the lightning bolt down the side?
Lightning pineapple?
Well, no, that's what the old vintage yellow trailers look like.
Oh, but are they pineapples?
I don't think anybody thought of them as pineapples. I'm pretty sure, but maybe.
I don't know. I'd have a stick and tin. Whatevs.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I like the look of vintage stuff, but I like the cool of modern stuff. So if I were doing stick and tin, it probably would have something a little bit throwback about the look.
No, you would
But-
you would get like a retro stick and tin, and then you would just load it full of
Gadgetry.
lithium batteries and
That's what's happening to my trailer right now.
All the industrial
you're
looking
like,
vintage.
here's my
Yeah.
vintage camper. It can fly.
Ooh, no, there's a thought.
Well, I said mine'd have wings, so I could loan them to you.
Mine would be called Red Bull. Oh man.
So many different options. Your trailer out there has none of the things we've talked about.
No.
It has an 040 aluminum skin on the outside.
I like it too.
I know.
I do. And it has canvas whenever I flip the beds out. So it's kind of this weird amalgamation of awesome.
Yeah. Isn't it cool that there's so many different kinds of trailers out there now?
Different kinds of trailers,
so
different
many
ways
different
to camp.
options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Very fun.
Cool.
Very fun. So everybody just pick one and get out there.
Mm-hmm.
That is our speech. Just pick one. Pick whatever one you want. You can even pick a tent.
Well, that's a wrap. Thank you again for joining us for this episode of the RV Small Talk podcast. We have enjoyed resharing this really fun episode about how trailers are constructed and what might be the perfect build type for you and your family and your adventures. Look us up at rvsmalltalk.com, and you can find us on social media and on YouTube if you want to see this video with your eyes. Until then, we'll see you next time.